the life and history of Augustus. For more bite-sized history, don't forget to like and subscribe. Augustus, originally named Gaius Octavius Thurinus, was born on September 23, 63 BCE in Rome. He would become one of the most significant figures in Roman history, transforming the Roman Republic into the Roman Empire and becoming its first emperor. His life and reign, which lasted until his death in 14 CE, marked the beginning of a period known as the Pax Romana, a time of relative peace and stability across the empire. Augustus's life can be divided into several key phases: his early life and rise to power, his consolidation of power, his administrative reforms, and his legacy. Early life and rise to power. Gaius Octavius Thurinus was born into a wealthy equestrian family, with his father, Gaius Octavius, serving as a senator and his mother, Attia Balba Caesonia, being the niece of Julius Caesar. This connection to Caesar would prove crucial in Octavius's rise to power. His father died when he was just 4 years old, and he was subsequently raised by his mother and stepfather, Lucius Marcius Philippus. Octavius's education was typical for a young Roman of his status, focusing on rhetoric, literature, and military training. In 44 BCE, when Julius Caesar was assassinated, Octavius was studying in Apollonia, Illyria. Caesar's death thrust the young Octavius into the political limelight. In Caesar's will, he was posthumously adopted as Caesar's son and named his principal heir, taking the name Gaius Julius Caesar Octavianus, commonly known as Octavian. The second triumvirate. Upon his return to Rome, Octavian found the city in chaos. The power vacuum left by Caesar's assassination had led to a struggle between the Senate, led by Cicero, and the conspirators who had killed Caesar, Brutus, and Cassius. Octavian initially aligned himself with the Senate and Cicero, using his inheritance to raise an army. However, he quickly realized that his primary rival for power was Mark Antony, one of Caesar's closest allies and a key figure in the current political landscape. In 43 BCE, Octavian, Antony, and Marcus Aemilius Lepidus formed the Second Triumvirate, a political alliance designed to defeat the conspirators and consolidate their power. This alliance was formalized through the Lex Titia, granting them extraordinary powers. The triumvirs successfully defeated Brutus and Cassius at the Battle of Philippi in 42 BCE, effectively ending the immediate threat to their rule. Consolidation of power. Despite their victory, the triumvirs' alliance was unstable. Octavian and Antony soon found themselves at odds over the control of the Roman world. The division of the empire between them was fraught with tension, particularly as Antony formed a romantic and political alliance with Cleopatra VII of Egypt, which threatened Octavian's position. Octavian skillfully used propaganda to turn public opinion against Antony, portraying him as a traitor who was under the sway of the foreign queen, Cleopatra. The conflict culminated in the naval Battle of Actium in 31 BCE, where Octavian's forces, commanded by his close friend and general Agrippa, decisively defeated Antony and Cleopatra. In the aftermath, both Antony and Cleopatra committed suicide, leaving Octavian as the uncontested ruler of Rome. Establishment of the Principate. In 27 BCE, Octavian formally restored the outward trappings of the Roman Republic, resigning his extraordinary powers to the Senate. In return, the Senate bestowed upon him the honorific title of Augustus, meaning revered one, and he became the first Roman emperor. This act marked the beginning of the Roman Empire, although Augustus maintained the facade of republican governance, careful not to be seen as a king. Augustus's political acumen allowed him to maintain his power through a combination of military strength, administrative reforms, and strategic generosity to potential rivals. He held multiple titles, including Princeps, First Citizen, Imperator, Commander, and Pontifex Maximus, Chief Priest. Consolidating his authority, over both civil and religious matters. Administrative reforms. Augustus's reign brought significant administrative reforms that stabilized and strengthened the empire. He reorganized the military, creating a standing army with a fixed term of service, and established the Praetorian Guard, an elite unit tasked with protecting the emperor. He also founded the Aerarium Militare, a military treasury to ensure soldiers were paid and rewarded for their service. In the provinces, Augustus implemented reforms to improve governance and reduce corruption. He divided the provinces into senatorial and imperial, with the latter directly controlled by him through appointed legates. This system allowed for more efficient and uniform administration. Augustus also reformed the tax system, creating a more equitable and efficient system that increased state revenues without overburdening the populace. He conducted a comprehensive census to ensure accurate tax collection and resource allocation. Public works and cultural patronage. Augustus invested heavily in public works, transforming Rome into a city befitting its status as the capital of a vast empire. He famously boasted that he found Rome a city of bricks and left it a city of marble. His building projects included temples, forums, aqueducts and roads, which not only beautified the city, but also improved its infrastructure and connectivity. He also patronized the arts and literature, ushering in the golden age of Latin literature. Poets such as Virgil, Horace, and Ovid thrived under his patronage, producing works that celebrated Rome's greatness and Augustus's achievements. The Aeneid, Virgil's epic poem, was particularly significant as it linked Rome's origins to the hero Aeneas and implicitly to Augustus's lineage. Social and moral legislation. Augustus was deeply concerned with social and moral issues, seeking to restore traditional Roman values and customs, which he believed had deteriorated. He enacted a series of laws aimed at promoting marriage, childbirth, and family stability. The Lex Julia de Maritandis Ordinibus and Lex Julia de Adulteriis Coescendis sought to encourage marriage and penalize adultery, respectively. He also reformed the legal system, enhancing the role of the Praetorian prefect and establishing a police force and fire brigade to maintain order and safety in Rome. These measures contributed to the stability and security of the city, fostering an environment where commerce and daily life could thrive. Foreign policy and military campaigns. Augustus's foreign policy was characterized by a mix of military expansion and diplomatic maneuvering. He continued to expand the empire's borders, particularly in the east and the north. His most notable campaigns included the subjugation of Egypt, the incorporation of the Balkans into the empire, and efforts to push the frontier to the Elbe River in Germany. However, not all of Augustus's military endeavors were successful. The most significant setback was the disastrous defeat in the Teutoburg forest in 9 CE, where 3 Roman legions were ambushed and annihilated by Germanic tribes. This defeat led Augustus to adopt a more cautious approach to expansion, focusing on consolidating and securing existing territories rather than aggressive conquest. Personal life and succession. Augustus's personal life was marked by a series of marriages and familial relationships that were intricately tied to his political strategies. His first marriage to Clodia Pulchra was annulled quickly. He then married Scribonia, with whom he had his only biological child, Julia the Elder. However, this marriage also ended in divorce, and Augustus married Livia Drusilla, who remained his wife for the rest of his life. Livia's sons from her previous marriage, Tiberius and Drusus, became central figures in Augustus's plans for succession. Augustus initially hoped to be succeeded by his grandsons, Gaius and Lucius Caesar, but their untimely deaths forced him to turn to Tiberius. In 4 CE, Augustus formally adopted Tiberius as his son and heir. ensuring a smooth transition of power upon his death. Death and legacy. Augustus died on August 19, 14 CE, at the age of 75 in Nola. His death marked the end of an era, but his legacy endured through the empire he had established and the reforms he had enacted. Augustus was deified by the Senate, becoming Divus Augustus, and his rule set the standard for future emperors. The Pax Romana, or Roman peace, which began under Augustus, continued for over 2 centuries, providing a period of relative stability and prosperity for the Roman Empire. His administrative and military reforms created a foundation that allowed the empire to thrive long after his death. Augustus's legacy is also reflected in the arts, literature, and architecture of his time. The golden age of Latin literature produced works that celebrated his achievements and ideals, and his building projects transformed Rome into a city of unparalleled grandeur. His emphasis on traditional Roman values and social stability influenced Roman society for generations. Conclusion. Augustus's life and reign were characterized by a remarkable ability to navigate the complex and often dangerous political landscape of late Republican Rome. Through a combination of military prowess, political acumen, and strategic reforms, he transformed the Roman Republic into the Roman Empire and established a legacy that shaped the course of Western history. Augustus's reign marked the beginning of a new era for Rome, one that would see the empire reach its greatest heights and endure for centuries to come. His impact on Rome and the broader Mediterranean world was profound, and his legacy continues to be studied and admired to this day. For more bite-sized history, don't forget to like and subscribe.